We not about to start this shit. Niggas be waiting. Right to the time.
Bringing everything back from episode 1.
Nah. That shit funny. So what was we doing? That's how we
Ask some questions from the.
It's the episode about nothing.
Right. This is.
DJ, motherfucker.
What actually is this?
Rewind.
Rewind. We're gonna have to get a soundbite of that. But yeah. Actually, welcome. We are here. Where there are two or more gathered. We gonna continue it on, man. Another episode, Rewind, Broken English Podcast, man. How are you guys doing?
Feeling
Good.
fine.
Good. Fried.
Fried.
I'm cool.
Good.
I feel good.
That's good. It's glad that everybody is feeling well. Because on today's episode, we've talked, I guess, up until this particular point, and we've had some here and there just of artist interactions and pretty much how we're going to progress the conversations that we do try to have here on the platform. And today is that actual continuation. It is the extension of the Broken English platform itself. Our Q&A that we have on the back end of the show. We do get into some questions that the audience members themselves kind of submit into us. We do have an opportunity in the show for them to get them answered by those artists, but we also keep them, so we have a database, just to kind of continue that dialogue that we have in the show. Because once again, like we continue to reiterate, it's important that we continue to, have that message because it does mean that much to the people that, submit those questions as well as to us. So we do have a couple questions with y'all being the most recent artist to perform on, the platform itself. It's kind of, here we are. So Trip as a feature, Alice as a spotlight, Leroy as the host. Right. Everybody has a little, little celebration within that.
Christian as the Holy Ghost.
Nah.
Spirit.
And the petty continues. Into the first question, Bob. So one of the questions, and I think this is appropriate to start with, given the backstory of, like where we come from and what we're discussing, is anybody can take this. Just going first. What have you learned about your own creativity and gifts that maybe surprises or scares you?
I've learned that I'm not a fluke. That I actually have the skill to create the things that I want when I write. I think imposter syndrome has played a huge role in my artist journey. So at this point, it's kind of like understanding that this is real. And like I actually intentionally put together the work that I do. Like it's not a fluke.
Anybody else want to take a step back? And y'all don't have to all answer the same questions. I'll definitely try to, mix it up. But if anybody wants to answer that question or feels like it sparks some response, y'all feel free. Chime in.
I resonate with that. I think that pretty much the entirety of what Leroy said. I think to pick something specifically, I would say that how powerful my words are. I think that being able to talk about my own personal journey and have other people resonate with it so much that they either burst into tears or they're like kind of, I wouldn't say unraveled, but they have some sort of like emotional reaction to it, I think lets me know that, one, if I'm honest with myself, if I stay true to myself, I have all the kind of power I need to kind of change my circumstance.
I was still thinking, honestly. I think it was really like the process, not the performance. Like getting ready for the show. I learned way more going up into the show than actually performing at it. It was just like a lot of pressure I was putting on myself to hit like a certain mark, like whatever I felt like people thought Trip Fontaine meant. You know what I'm saying? Like making sure I didn't disappoint. Like I put all of my shit together in the best way possible to have the most impact. And I was just stressing myself out because it was like real life shit going on. We still had BE business to handle, so like I ain't even really have time to sit down and do what all I wanted to do in my mind. But then I was like, bro, you actually don't have to do any of that. You know, as good as that sounds, like you don't owe nobody that extravagant grand, because you're not even doing it for you. You're doing it to make sure people recognize you as the hype that they claim you to be. You know what I'm saying? Like you doing that shit to make sure that like motherfuckers think that you still him. It's like, bro, nigga, at that point, do Trip Fontaine even belong to me still? You know what I'm saying? Like do this shit. Is it my feature or is it theirs? You feel me? So I was just like, fuck it. And with all due respect, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Like this nigga, these my poems. Like this my testimony, this my observation. However I go up there and do it, it's still just as valid, nigga, because like that's the space I was in during the show. Like I don't perform the same set twice, no way. So I was just going in, I took the expectations off myself, and you know I had said it then and I meant it. Like I just operated from a space of gratitude. You know what I'm saying? Like it's rare, I think, except in my in the young and hungry days. And even then, like it was a chip on my shoulder. I think this was really just on some. I'm honestly just happy to be here, bruh. I'm happy to be performing. I'm grateful that motherfuckers even think what we say is valuable enough to come and fuck with us. Like I'm grateful because it's been a long fucking time since I've had the opportunity to do this shit. So let's just share. And I got to enjoy it. I really got to enjoy myself more than I usually do when I perform.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I unfortunately didn't get to make it, but it's good to hear you say that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there are a lot of, like, I guess, points in what you were saying that's, you know, and some even kind of go into some of these other questions, you know, they kind of segue into that or branch off of it. But, like, the whole expectation that you kind of put on yourself as an artist, and everybody I feel like can relate in some way, you know, of that. And then the freeingness of letting go of that expectation to just, you know what I'm saying, just be there. Like, because, like I said, I definitely, you know, I kind of asked you a question before, you know, maybe when we said we were all going to, you know, perform, like, you know, what you were planning on doing. And at that particular time, you know, a couple months ago, like, it was, hey, I'm trying to get some new shit. You know, I'm putting my energy into doing some new shit. And, like, it's just as, I don't know, like, it's like we kind of talk about the responsibility that we take on ourselves to just continue to uphold whatever it may be in that particular, like, sense of the word. Like, hey, I got to do some new shit because that's just what I got to do. Like, I feel like I have to do that. I feel like you know what I'm saying, as an artist or whatever my obligation that I'm putting on myself. Like, the weight I'm putting on myself, I have to do it, only to realize that, dude, is not necessarily as difficult as you need to make it. Like, it's always, that's dope to hear that you had that experience during that show, because I would have loved to see it. And y'all being there, like, talk a little bit about y'all's experience with, you know what I'm saying, you know, like I said, it was the finale of our first complete season of Broken English. Like, that's not, you know, a light statement to make as long as we've been trying to do this. So, like, with y'all, you hosting, you spotlighting, like, and kind of going based off of that, like, how did y'all feel? Like, I mean, if it was a surreal moment, if, you know, what it meant to you, I guess. I hit your mic on. I knocked the shit out that jump.
Definitely gratitude for sure. I think because people were really rocking with us, and there's been people who've been at like most of our shows, so if not all of them. For me, my particular performance, I think I had a crazy week. I ended up crying the first show. I just felt like I needed to get something off, and I was grateful that being able to kind of get that off, that weight off, get whatever I was feeling off on our show. I don't take that for granted. I do take that seriously. But kind of to piggyback off what Trip said, I think just me being however I was feeling at the time, I was grateful to be in that space with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I was just grateful to be in community with the people who were there, and I enjoyed the show thoroughly. Like, I enjoyed every part of the show. I wanted to kind of I get to sit and watch some of my favorite writers, which is y'all. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all thing, and it was just a pleasure. And I feel like all of our shows we have a lot of fun, but that one, these two last two shows were particularly fun. One, because I haven't seen him do a whole set in a long ass time. And this set was crazy, by the way. That fire poem is probably one of my favorite pieces that you've done, and I said it multiple times. But yeah, it was just a pleasure to be there. And then Leroy, you taking on the hosting, doing a good job. Seeing you step into your Super Saiyan level 7, especially with the hair and shit. I love that I get to be a witness to what's been happening. You know what I'm saying? As well as kind of inserting myself. So.
Yeah, I think I also agree. Talking about being a witness, Broken English is a show that I really love to watch. Like, as much as I'm a part of it, I love to get my work done and go back and watch from the door. You know what I mean? No matter how many times I got to go to the back and help out with something, like, I'm always like, all right, I'm done with that. Now I can go back and watch the show. So I really admire how Trip hosts. Like, and no matter what, I couldn't help but like compare myself or try to live up to the standard that he set. And I know, even just coming into your last set, you talked about being put up on a pedestal. But like, y'all really do inspire and motivate me to do better. I think it's always been iron sharpen iron. So regardless, if I know for a fact that I don't need to compare myself to you because I am my own artist, my own individual, still, like, because this is a show I really fuck with, like, if I wasn't a part of it, I would love to watch it. It's like, damn, I'm about to host a show that has already been done so well, in that role. And when I got to it, it was like, it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. It felt like probably the most comfortable show we've ever done, because we were all, the focus point of the show. Like, introducing them was nothing new. To really just set the tone of the space felt like nothing new. The people knew what they were there for. Everything just felt like it, was in place. It was in alignment the entire way through. And I don't think I needed to be as nervous as I was. But I thoroughly enjoyed the show, man. Again, just getting done hosting and going back, and I still felt like I got to watch the show, and to be a part of the energy that set the tone for that as well was definitely a blessing.
I definitely enjoy watching this show too. That's my favorite part. Just every show. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me. Like I said, like, we all take so much away from each show. It's always like we do have some type of position to watch it. And it's dope to see every single time, because everybody that comes to a show, if it's their first time, you get to see them have a show for their first time, nigga. Like, that shit is so dope to see somebody have a show. And then you see the people that do come back. Like, you know what I'm saying? They are family now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm coming back. And then they come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just, you build that rapport with people. One of these questions is actually pretty good. I think it's a good question to ask, is what are some things that you've had to let go of in order to expand? And I feel like that's a growth-oriented question. And with us talking about, just like I said, the finale and what we had to come through to get here, like, does anybody want to take a stab at that question or answering that? What are some things that you've had to let go of to expand, in order to expand?
Control.
Rewind.
Control.
That's what it dropped. That's what it dropped, bro.
Control, bro. Yeah. Like, this is a calling for me. You know what I mean? Like, and I know at the end of the day, as much as I can say what I want and what I want to do with it, like, I'm not really in charge. Even if I do get all of the things that I want, I'm not in charge of how they come to me and when they come to me. You know what I'm saying? And just being willing to submit to the whole process that this thing come with. It's hard. It's had me in some pretty uncomfortable places, some uncomfortable positions that all I can really do is trust the Most High to get me through to the other side. You know what I'm saying? Because like I don't know what I'm fitting to do in the situation, and I some of them, you know, I've tried everything I could do and none of it worked, and I realized like this ain't even my fight for real. Like if this a space that I've been sent to, or if this a mission that I've been sent on, and everything I actually need, like I got. It's that I don't have the things that I prefer. I don't have the level of comfort I prefer, and my preference ain't really the mission. You know what I'm saying? Like my preference is not to work. As a matter of fact, the work is made to challenge my preferences and what I believe is necessary to do this stuff. So, and most recently, especially, I think with that last set, it was just like, bruh, get off your high horse. You know what I'm saying? Like, get over yourself for real, for real. If these the pieces that you got, if this the time you have, use it. And just see where it take you and be grateful that, you know, this is what's been given to you, as opposed to trying to challenge everything and change everything around you all the time. So I think that was one of the first times I was really just like, fuck it for real. Like, you got it. Whatever it is, whatever it's going to be, I'm going to pray on it. I'm going to say my amens, my thank yous, and that's just what it's going to be. And I'm going to take that.
I do want to open it up to y'all. Like, I mean, outside of me just continuing to ask questions on here, I do want to open it up to, you know, us just actually asking each other questions, because honestly, it comes down to that. Like, when we are all in agreement, like, y'all are some of my favorite artists to watch them perform too. Like, it's just, you know, the dynamics there of seeing everybody from when we first started performing to now. Everybody's like, just, I don't know, man. Everybody just kind of hit their own lane and their own stride. And, you know, do y'all have questions for each other? From, you know what I'm saying, it can be from the show. Like, I mean, shit, I didn't know, you know, my nigga had the tears going, bro. I would have loved to be in that space, my nigga. Like, damn, man, I miss the vulnerability, bro. Like, that's my shit. Like, goddamn. Like, I mean, but is it anything that y'all want to ask each other? Like, about whatever, when it comes to it being the finality, it being y'all being the artists on there? Like, did y'all have anything that was not answered during the panel? Like,
So the red text.
nah, you guys want to be petty.
Looking at you.
Look away.
Or is it implied?
See, this is not what the podcast is supposed to be used for. Y'all play too much.
This is not.
Just wanted to ask questions, bro.
Not a platform for.
I'll write in pencil, bro. That's red pen rich over there.
That's fine. You guys don't have to have it.
Nah. I'm really trying to think of some. Cause like, I think I really love when we get the chance to be in the same space and pick each other's brains about different pieces and stuff like that. That hasn't really had a big space a lot lately, just because, you know, niggas is working, like, and we on missions for sure. But, you know, just thinking about those times back at Mount Olympus, you feel me, when we really be like, all right, share the new shit. Like, everybody got new shit. Everybody got questions. Now it's like I think I've been trying to work on my questions, like, not even for the purpose of, because we've been doing Q&As and podcasts and shit, but really trying to figure out what are the questions that I want to ask? What are the ones that really move me? Because it's easy for me to be an observer right now and not to really pick at, you know, what I want to know or what's maybe underlying. Is just like, I just want to sit and be in awe and like take it all in. But I do think one of my questions, just based on where I'm at right now as an artist, is like, how do you lean into discipline when it comes to your craft when motivation isn't really around? And even thinking about a lot of commission pieces, I know niggas been getting commissions lately. Like when you required to have a deadline and inspiration is nowhere to be found, like a black father. No, I'm just. I'm sorry.
The thoughts and views of this.
It is. That's a fact. Don't believe that. I was joking.
Yes.
I was joking.
I'm crying.
But really, when inspiration is nowhere to be found, how do you lean into discipline in that moment?
Read. I think reading has always kind of informed my creative process. So I read writers, poets, y'all, and in reading, and I think that allows my creative juices to flow. Or I'll do a different type of art. I think that's something I think that really kind of helped to help me be creative, or kind of force me to kind of think outside of the box when I'm kind of have my eyes on something for too long. Go paint, go draw, go color, and that has really helped in different ways. But definitely read for sure. But that discipline thing is hard, 1,000%. That's really hard. But I think. Yeah, I'll just say read and then do a different medium of art, and then hopefully that has been working for me as of late.
You gotta go to war with the work, man. It's chess with me in every piece that I, especially commission. But it's chess. Like some days, I'm only get one line out. I'm only add the hi-hats to a beat. I'm only delete some shit off of it, and that's gonna be the only move I can think to make that day. But like I'm gonna make the move regardless. You know, with like commission stuff, especially because that may not be something you passionate about. It may not be something you can even really relate to. Like all it takes is one line a day. You know what I'm saying? One word a day, one sentence. I'm not one of them people who feel like I gotta churn out a complete anything every day. I just gotta raise my bottom line. So as long as the worst that I did yesterday ain't the worst that I do today, like if I could just improve my worst, like I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, the discipline is the answer to the lack of motivation. It's not so much a lean in thing. It's like, nigga, just do that shit. You feel me? If you commit to writing 5 minutes a day, then just commit to writing 5 minutes a day. What you turn out in that 5 minutes is not the point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that be where I think niggas be fucked up, is like the motivation would be having you writing your favorite piece and shit like that. Like, oh, this is my favorite shit to perform. Discipline is why you can actually sit down and write a poem when you say you're gonna write a poem. You know what I'm saying? Discipline is why when you say, like, I'm gonna finish my book on this date, like, you've put enough incremental work in over a period of time that, like, now you have everything you said you was gonna have. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, bro, I don't you see, I still been spitting the same shits for, like, the past however long, but it's like now when I say I'm gonna put a book out, nigga, I really have been working on that shit. I may not have been doing the pieces fast enough to add them to poetry sets and shit like that, but I've been going to war with them bitches over the last 2 years, nigga. It may be a line, 5 lines over the whole year, but that's 5 more lines than I had last year, so we gonna get to it.
That's real.
Would you better jump in? Or?
I was just gonna say, like, that perfection, wanting perfection every time you sit down and write, versus just allowing whatever space you are in to kind of guide you. Again, whether it's a word, a sentence, a phrase. So,
and that's why I'm urging my students, man, to find out their writing process, consider it, like at least get to know it a little bit, so that way you can lean into those moments of understanding that sometimes it's only going to be a line, it's only going to be a word. That doesn't make you any less of a writer, because before that was my standard. It's like, oh, I'm trying to churn out a good piece every time I write. And then realizing that, like, of course, I'm not going to be disciplined to that because that's a completely unrealistic standard. And that's not even how I operate on a consistent basis. That's just me taking, like, really the reaction that I got from those things that I wrote, and trying to hold myself to that every single time. But that's not really me. That's not the real writer and process that I take. And so now, just like really committing to those daily writing goals of like time or lines or whatever definitely helps. So I appreciate you like really separating that of what discipline really looks like. So that's real.
You always got a prophetic word. You're going to bless the fuck out of I always got the prophetic word.
I got a question for y'all.
Word.
Y'all favorite line that you wrote? Line, not poem, not your best. Your favorite line, like what sticks out the most? This is you too, bro.
Hours for
That's
days.
a long
bro.
time, yeah.
Y'all didn't hear that. That's good.
If anybody has an immediate answer, this nigga still thinking.
Shit.
I don't know. Well, okay. So, one, I want you to lead by example and tell us. And then I'm going to follow up after you go with that, with my response. So what's yours, my G? See, look.
Hold on, I had it.
Oh, okay.
It was. Hold on, bro.
Yeah, get it out. Get it out.
My notes, bro.
Okay, while he gets it out, since we don't want to necessarily have dead air, has anybody else thought about theirs?
Why ask me this question?
Okay, so you had some type of come on,
But
bro.
no, I never answered because
Never, okay.
like I still don't know. Like it's just it's a lot of poems to go through, and
Yeah,
there's a
it
lot of lines that I really like. I think most recently is the best place I can start. What is that? I don't even know the fucking name of the poem. There's poetry everywhere. That line, there's poetry in the water. You can poetry from the ground up if you write it the right way. I lost my mind writing that shit. I was in the garage like, I'm gonna fuck niggas up with this one, nigga.
Hey, nah, that shit is hard.
That's the best feeling in the world, right?
Facts.
Best
Right.
feeling in the world.
So yeah, that's my most recent favorite line. I will say that.
Got you. You find yours, Alice?
Hold on, bro.
Trip, you got yours?
Give me a second, bro.
Okay, so I don't necessarily have one, and it's different because I haven't necessarily performed in a long time either. But like I said, I don't necessarily have one. But what I will say in response to that is, since I don't have one, I do recognize that I have moments where, for me and how I like to digest, consume, or experience writing, I've had clever moments to myself where I've kind of like appreciated my own wordplay or whatever when it
Mental
comes
masturbation.
to like mental masturbation. Like it's kind of like, oh shit, like I understand that for myself. So like I don't know if I have a line immediately. Like I might. Well, I'll say an O line that vigilantes forced to watch cultural appropriation from the sidelines. I guess this is how Batman begins.
Yeah, nah,
How
that
we
was-
take justice
yeah,
into
nuts.
our own hands.
Nuts, bro,
How
nuts.
dark nights rise and fall. Yeah,
Yeah,
nah,
I was like-
that's a nice
That
one.
first
I
heard
like
of it,
that.
I was like, God.
I was like, hold on, bro. How dark nights rise and fall. Nah, that's my shit. I like that one. But definitely a lot more so recently, like my writing style has changed. So the way I'm writing or approaching writing, I don't have a lot of those particular moments, but there are moments in my writing where I feel like it's the poetic version of how I want to, perform now. But did you have something before? Because we running out. We on time too.
I would
So
just have to do some recent shit my damn self. Like, and I think it's really the same thing that you're describing, but also like I pull my scheme so far through like my verses that like what I really end up writing in totality is for people that write and read. Like I think there's a layer for niggas who just like hip hop, like in my music and even in my poetry, but then like for people who can see words and people who actually write, like I pull like a lot of, so like it's hard for me because shit, I'll be putting them shits in there on purpose, bro.
Yeah.
I'll be tucking them in.
it's crazy.
Listening to music like this nigga is crazy.
Bruh, I think one of my favorite recent joints though, it's from Silence is Gold. It's are you actively healing or just hoping? I ain't no doctor, but I know honesty helps. Can we get open? What's better than real? I ain't no pump faker. If I'm gonna shoot the breeze, I'm pulling up from deep. We can lay up later.
Hey,
Like that's probably just one of my favorite like little couplets, just because I love sports schemes. Like that's probably one of my favorite shits like in rap, and just the way you able to make double entendres out of like sports and church and shit like that. It ain't even really like this the most deep shit I've ever said. Nigga just like bars sometimes and like to see what I could do with the pen, you know what I mean? And that was just one of the moments where I'm like, yeah, nah, that's nuts, nigga.
When you thread every single word together
Yeah,
and that
see.
shit makes
Exactly.
That's like the best best one in the world.
I'm gonna have to write that down because we're gonna have to table that conversation.
Oh, nigga,
That conversation
I
is,
like that,
I don't know, because I definitely want to get y'all's. We start to get into the shits when the shit going down. Like just the overall how y'all write and how the scheme might be different and how far y'all take the scheme through the writing, because that's always an interesting conversation when it comes to writers, because like some of it does come across in performance and some of it doesn't, but then you have the people that catch it in performance. Like I was having a conversation with Shamika and she was like, you know, it was one of the earlier shows and she had came to it and we were just talking about, you know, just everybody's performance up into us being, you know, having a broken English spot. And Shamika's been down since, you know what I'm saying? Like since whatever.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But she had said just like, you can hear when somebody's writing for, like, you can hear it when it's on the page. You can see it kind of when they're saying it, like in the performance, like you can see how they wrote it and how everything you can, like if it was on the page, I can see where it connects from this stanza to this line and I am ambient pentameter, nigga, like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But nah, we're gonna have to get into that. But I think that's time for real. We're gonna stop there.
You find one?
Oh, you got
you
one?
owe us a line.
Yeah, nah, get us before we out. We out on this.
Control the narrative, then you write their plots. Material consequences for these subject blocks. So all you grammar police starting to sound like ops. So playing on that plots. I love that. Like narratives, plots. I was like, nigga,
Hey, nah.
I got one.
No words.
Yeah, nah.
I know some of these words.
I got one. I got one.
We-
I got one.
Yeah, when you got one, though, nigga.
Bruh.
It's a Jinkies moment for sure. Nigga be at the crib like, Jinkies. Write it down. Secure it. Nah, he said
Slam
save
my pad
document.
down.
Because I felt this shit.
Nah, but we gonna leave it at that, man. It was good talking to y'all as always. Broken English, rewind. Be at y'all again. I need a camera to look off to, like, bang. Well, actually, no. We didn't cut yet, right? All right. So we gonna get better at this. A word from our sponsor. So no, what I do want to do is shout out all of our social media, Broken English 101. On all social media. Follow us, keep up with us. We will be putting promotion out for just different campaigns that we have going on, different ways to connect with us, as well as information about next season. So like I said, follow us, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We have handles on pretty much anything, TikTok as well. Leroy does a beautiful job at kind of coordinating our social media and making sure that we are visible and have a presence on that junk, as much as some of us don't like to have a presence on that junk. So that's that. Shout out to our sponsors and our people behind the camera, Goodly Productions, man. They definitely take care of us. And this with this whole vision, man, down since day one. And I appreciate that. Like I
Swing the
said,
camera over the
I know, right? That's how they do it on like late night shows. It be the nigga in the back. Ah. But no, anybody else? Because I know I'm forgetting stuff. Like any word from our sponsors, like
Shout out to you.
Shout out to Root of
Yeah.
Success. Also help us get to 2016 followers on IG. So like our page, share our content.
you guys said with some more. Nah, all right.
Also WRCX. We are currently in a
Yes.
black-owned TV station
Word.
on the west side of town.
one of the only in the country.
Facts.
5.
Facts.
And we only got 4 minutes. But nah, we gonna get out of here, man. Broken English, rewind. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. We out.
Okay.